All right. I think we are finally live. Sorry for the delay, guys. That's on me. Had some issues loading up the page, but we are here. And the good news is we only have three games to talk about today. Nick Marro here with Smitty and Occupy Fantasy, as always, helping you break down the NBA DFS main slate on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Already mentioned it, just three games tonight, Smitty. Still waiting on a few pieces of news. Sounds like we just got word that Edwards is in. But yeah, what's your overall take here?
Yeah, I kind of liked it more when we had the Ant Q tag. Luckily, that at least saved me some roster spots now that he's available. But I still think it's a pretty good slate. A lot of recent lineup changes that are coming into account or have been accounted for already, and the field's not really adjusting to all of it.
Yeah, we got some interesting stuff, especially in this first game, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But guys, last time we had the 12 gamer, I couldn't get to all the comments, so I'll go ahead and do our shouts out here. Appreciate you guys all being here. Carmen just became a member. Definitely appreciate that. We got Heath in here, Jose, Unicorn Cards, all the guys, all the fellas. Luke in here as well. Who else? Unicorn, as always. Appreciate you guys. A lot of discussion of whether Edwards would be in or not. And then our man Swerve here saying good results last night. And yeah, everyone chasing the satellites lately. Definitely a strategy that Occupy really promotes. I know Chuck had a big win, top 10 the other night on a ticket he got for $6. So the best ROI you can get playing those satellites, Smitty. I know it's something you do frequently. Any thoughts on that? Personally, I think I need to do it more, but you guys seem to have a great grasp of it.
Yeah, I love it. Something I've really done, even when I was just a member of Occupy, it's something I really started getting after. And it kind of allows you to play contests you normally wouldn't play either if you're playing like Chuck. I know he probably wouldn't reg the 222 every night. So it's just kind of gives you something to look forward to. And then even like the Christmas contests, it's a good way to possibly get a big hit and changes your bankroll completely.
Yeah, I know we have a few members who've been stacking those Santa Slam tickets. I forget who it is. They already have 150, so they're going
Yeah, I
to be
do
maxing
too.
that contest. And it's a huge prize up top, so you got to love it. Shouts out to Arlene Edwards in here as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the game by game. Again, just three games. We can dig a little bit deeper today. We'll still finish around 6:30 Eastern. But first game on the slate, we got the Kings taking on the Pacers. Pretty tight spread, 233.5 point total. And you mentioned it, Smitty. A couple teams have been shaking things up in terms of the starting lineup. The Kings, definitely one of those teams. No Sabonis, no Schroeder. Keegan Murray is in available. Other than that, just G Leaguers here on the injury report. But as I pull them up here in the model, Maxime Reynaud has been starting at center. Been pretty productive as well. I know you had a good lineup with him, if I remember correctly. I think it was yesterday or the other day. Levine finally had a good game. He's projected to start here. But yeah, man, go ahead and break down the Kings. I'll give my thoughts in just a second. But seems like you have a pretty good grasp of what this rotation might look like.
Yeah, I do think it's. I mean, this game's probably one of my favorites. One of the tighter spreads. Neither team's very good at defense, so that alone's a pretty good thing to look into. Russ is actually surprisingly, I think he looks pretty good on this slate. Not drawing a ton of ownership on DraftKings, but I do think he's in play. And then Raynaud, the big one, model's favorite value play for Sacramento, I think on the entire slate. But yeah, we have him at 27 minutes, which I think is pretty reasonable. He could definitely play more than that. Indiana's kind of struggles in the paint, so I do think he's a pretty good option. Not getting a ton of love either. I mean, 22% on a three gamer is not very much. So I do think we want to be overweight there. DeMar and Levine, hard for me to get excited about either. Levine, I feel like has a higher ceiling, but you could go either or. Personally, would rather not. I just don't love them, but they're going to be in some lineups for me. And then Keegan, I think, is a pretty good play as well. Just kind of in a weird price range where I don't think he's going to get a ton of ownership. So I do think he's in play. And since it's a small slate, I'll mention Clifford, 0% own. He did get some weird minutes last game to where it kind of seemed like they want to go that route a little bit more. So I don't mind. Like he's in my pool, and I have him bumped to where I at least get a few percent of him. I think Clifford's a good GPP play if you're playing large field tournaments. And then kind of same goes for Precious. He's a little expensive, but there is pass. And then Malik Monk as well with Schroeder out. he has one of the higher ceilings at his price range, so I do think he's a good play.
Yeah, Monk's had some big games lately, and again, with it only being the three gamer, we're pretty much going to talk through every single player that's in the rotation. So, if this was a 12 game slate, Precious, like we wouldn't be
Yeah.
getting there, Clifford. But I'm with you, man. I do think right now it looks great. I'm definitely surprised he's not a little bit more popular. The Kings have been terrible for most of the season. They obviously have some talent on this team, even with Sabonis out. So they're going to continue to shake things up until they find that right formula. I will say Levine, as bad as he's been, like of those starters. I mean, at least compared to DeRozan, I think he is the higher ceiling. I'd say DeRozan probably is the higher floor, but we saw Levine shoot lights out in Miami last game. 8 for 13 from three, 55 fantasy points. Good to just see that he still has that in his bag. DeRozan, I think, is going to be a bit more consistent, but we're not going to see a ton of 50-point games out of him. So, again, if you're playing large field, high risk stuff, I'd probably prefer Levine over DeRozan. I don't really love either of them, though. Then we have Malik Monk off the bench. He's had some huge games. Kind of shocked he's not getting a little bit more love here. Just 7%. Definitely worth mixing into your exposures in high risk contests. But just to quickly recap, yeah, the one core play really for me would probably be Maxime Renaud. I do think he's under owned on both sites. And then Russ at his price is fine. Let me ask you this, though. Are you getting to any Renaud over on FanDuel where you can only play one center, even lower owned over there?
Yeah, I am. Only 12% ownership, and yeah, he can get some steals and blocks, so I don't mind him there. You only get to play one center, so it is taking up a little bit more, but I like playing low owned centers on FanDuel, so I'm down.
Yep, right there with you, man. Over on the Indiana side of things, Halliburton's out. No Quentin Jackson, Cam Jones, Aaron Naismith, Ben Shepard, or Obi Toppin. Starting lineup, we're seeing Garrison Matthews projected to start at the three. This is another situation where a team could be shaking things up a little bit. We've seen Jarrett Walker get a lot of these starts here on the wing. Um, I don't know. Matthews, pretty good spacer if that's what they're going to use him for, but super, super scoring dependent. At the same time, if you're desperate for value, there's not a ton to pay up for. But if you're building more into that stars and scrubs type of build, I don't think Matthews is crazy. At the same time, not a great play. Definitely more of a high risk play. And the plays that do look good here are already very popular. Aaron Nemhard, not Aaron, Andrew Nemhard, excuse me. He looks good. Matherin scoring dependent. Plenty of upside though, and after a few kind of shaky weeks, Siakam has been playing a lot better lately. His usage is up. I had almost 40% usage against Chicago, which is kind of ridiculous. Don't think that's sustainable at all. But I do like Siakam here a lot. I think Siakam, Nemhard, those are my two favorites. Second tier, I put Mathurin and then even Jay Huff, who's probably going to continue to start at center here. He's been very much boom or bust, but the booms for him are much better than where he's priced. So I do like him, especially on DK, where you can play him at power forward. So you can get three centers in your lineups over there tonight if you're going to consider Huff a center. Other than that, the minutes for McConnell have been frustrating lately. They actually have him closing at times because obviously he's a vet. He's got a decent head on his shoulders, but he's losing minutes to get him into that closing rotation to guys like Ethan Thompson, Johnny Furphy. So I don't know. I think the backup guards are kind of tricky to get to here. Obviously, TJ has some upside, but the minutes are all over the place for him. Like usually we could just count on the 18 to 20. We haven't even been able to do that. So yeah, I think all the starters you can make a case for. Not so much Garrison Matthews if he does start, but Walker off the bench I'm okay with. Maybe some Jackson, probably not. But yeah, Nemhard, Siakam, kind of core plays for me here. Mathurin and Huff not too far behind as tournament options. How you feeling about Indiana?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I like this game quite a bit. I'm getting to quite a bit of Nimhard. I really like Siakam at the high end of pricing. We don't have a ton of payups, and he's pretty consistent. Plus, he has a ceiling going against a team that struggled to defend anything, really. I actually do have interest in Jay Huff. I think he's a pretty good play. The model likes him as well. So I like him on both sides. Power forward eligibility really helps. So I like him. TJ, I'm getting to a little bit. Um, I'm sure we'll get questions about Ethan Thompson. Played over 30 minutes last game, and Carlisle likes him, so I think it probably continues. He's a pretty good. Trying to think of the word. He's pretty good when he's not with all the starters. When he's with all the starters, he's kind of like the last fiddle. Like he's mainly out there for defensive purposes, but he can fill up the stat sheet. Like in the G League, he nearly averages a triple double, pretty close to it. So like he is productive, but with the starters out there, we don't know how that is. But if he's really only 7% owned, I think he's good. If he's announced starting, um, it don't look as good to me, like because the ownership's going to go there. But if he's not starting, I do think it's someone we could go to. I mean, if he's starting, you still want to go there. I don't want to tell you not to go there, but he is going to come in with more ownership.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I mean, I didn't talk about him much other than to say he's taking minutes away from McConnell, but he's been hyper productive when he's not starting and he is on the floor. I would rank him ahead of guys like Matthews and McConnell. Just want to make that known. But again, if he starts, it's kind of like a Sam Hauser type player. Like the situation is almost worse for him when he's on the floor with the starters. So I think you kind of nailed that. But yeah, great game environment. No reason not to get to these guys. But if there's ever a coach to shake up rotations and lineups, it's definitely Rick Carlisle. So definitely keep an eye on things there. We maybe get that lineup before we're off stream, and we'll talk you guys through it. HB Card, shouts out to you actually bringing up the Thompson question right as Smitty was talking through him. So that worked out nice. Next game here at 7:30 Eastern, we got the Phoenix Suns taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves, decent favorites at home. Still no Devin Booker for the Suns. Dylan Brooks is questionable. No Jalen Green or Isaiah Livers. Big news here is that Dylan Brooks is questionable. Obviously, he's going to take a ton of shots if he is in and on the floor. I guess we got to wait and see. I do think he's going to want to play here, but he's dealing with Achilles soreness, which is a bit of a red flag. I don't know. I tend to think he goes though. He's a tough kid, tough guy in general. Then we got Gillespie, who's going to start. Obviously, with Booker out, he looks really solid. Kind of a core play everywhere. He's very, very chalky for whatever that's worth. I think there are pivots, but as far as guards in the 6 to 7K range he is one of my favorites. Mark Williams, finest center. Again, he joins a group of pretty decent center plays. I guess I like Grayson Allen regardless, not so much, honestly. If Brooks is in, if Brooks is out, I like him much more. No one. Oh God! Wow. Okay, I looked earlier. I didn't think he was going to be this popular, but 44% on FanDuel for him, 5,800 feels a little bit over owned. If Brooks is in, if I'm being serious or being honest, even on a 3 game slate on DK at 20%, 6,500. Don't love the price. So for me, it really depends on Brooks, how much Grayson Allen I'm getting to. Jordan Goodwin probably going to come in off the bench here. I mean, he is. Just how many minutes he plays is the question. Again, I'll feel a little bit better if we get Brooks out for Goodwin. But shouts out to Douche in our Discord. The same way I'm the Nets guy, he's kind of the Suns guy. He brought up Jamare Bouye as someone to keep an eye on if Brooks is out, as he'd probably have to do some ball handling. When I was looking into it after he said it, Bouye's been playing really well. He's played 14 plus minutes, I think, in 3 straight back-to-back games over 18 minutes and 20 fantasy points. So either way, if you're desperate for a very low-on play, Jamare Bouye might be your guy tonight. The front court for the Suns, other than Williams, I'm really not interested in. Guys like Iguodaro, Richards, they spike a ceiling from time to time, but it's so rare that I don't think I even want to chase it on a 3 game slate. Royce O'Neal is like a last piece in, makes some sense. Very scoring dependent, though. And yeah, very low usage as well. So that combo doesn't always work out for fantasy. But again, I think Gillespie is kind of a core play regardless. If Brooks is in, kind of a core play for me. If he's out, I'll be pivoting to some Allen, some Goodwin, and some Bouye. But yeah, tough situation until we have the Brooks news, Smitty. How you feeling about Phoenix for now?
Yeah, it's tough because they're in a good spot. Even if Brooks is in, there's a lot of usage to go around. Minnesota's not a great matchup, but if Brooks is in, I think he's fine. Kind of with Grayson Allen, it's a 3 game slate, so I'm fine getting to a little bit, but it's not. It's not my favorite play. I'll say that. But Gillespie's my favorite from here. I do like him. Going to handle the ball primarily. I think with the way this situation breaks out, if Brooks is out. So I do like Gillespie more if Brooks is out. I still like him if he's in. But yeah, it's mainly them two. Grayson Allen's fine. I have a little bit of Mark Williams, but he's okay to me. And then we have like this bench slash value pieces. Like I don't mind that shot on Bouye. Like I don't mind getting to a few percent of him if Brooks is out. If Brooks is in, it's kind of hard. You'd want your lineup to be constructed for like a blowout. I think it could make sense. But yeah, Ryan Dunn would look a little bit better if Brooks is out. And I'm trying to think. Maybe Jordan Goodwin. He's kind of priced up on DraftKings though, and FanDuel. So wouldn't be like my favorite plays, but overall, the ones I'm getting to the most are Brooks and Gillespie, assuming Brooks plays.
Yep, same. Those are the two that I'm getting the most of. And I will say, if Brooks is out, it's probably going to be Dunn who gets to start. Dunn, another one of these guys, kind of like Royce O'Neal, doesn't always see a ton of usage when he's out there with the starters, but you could play them if you need them. But again, we just got word that Brooks is a game time decision. So he'll probably warm up, see how he's feeling. Hopefully, we get that news soon. But again, have a plan in place. If he is out, maybe you could just pivot to Allen, something like that, an easy one for one. But yeah, let's move over to the Timberwolves side of things. Anthony Edwards was questionable for most of the day. He is in and available, as is Terrence Shannon, Enrique Freeman, and then Rocco Zakarski is on the injury report for whatever reason. Not really a rotational piece, though, so don't need to worry about him. On a small slate, I mean, the model doesn't love Ant, but I do think raw points could matter tonight, so I'm pretty comfortable going to him. This isn't the best matchup for him, honestly, but I still feel pretty comfortable getting some exposure there. Rudy Gobert has been solid lately for the most part, other than against the Clippers last time out. But a small slate, one of the better center options, in my opinion, especially if this game stays close. Mark Williams, pretty much a sieve defensively. He should be able to do whatever he wants there. DiVincenzo getting some love. I'm fine with it. Priced a little bit too low for what his role should be. And then McDaniels, kind of similar on the wing, a little bit too cheap for what he's capable of. And then I have to bring up Randall. I mean, I've consistently stayed away from him this year. But honestly, on a slate like tonight's, where we only have three games, not a lot to pay up for, some decent value, I'm probably going to get to more of him than I would usually. So I do think he looks okay. And then Nas Reed, always love Nas Reed, even off the bench. His price came up a bit, but not enough. Three straight games over 36 fantasy points, about price where he should be now. But again, when we say that on bigger slates, it means we're avoiding guys. On these smaller slates, he's probably someone you could get to and feel pretty good about. So in summary, I like McDaniels more than maybe I should, but he's probably my favorite here. Fine with Randall, Nas, DiVincenzo, Gobert. All the starters look pretty good, Smitty. How you feeling about the T Wolves? You on mute?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I do think this is a spot where they probably have a pretty good game, so I'm pretty interested in getting to Dante. Like you said, his price is low. You don't need like a mega ceiling like you do on a bigger slate, so I do think he's fine. Jaden McDaniels also looks good. And then on FanDuel, you also get the steal and block upside. Nas Reed's minutes have been kind of trending up, so I do like the Nas call. It's mainly those three, but I do like Randall as a pivot to Siakam. Although I like Siakam, he shouldn't be like a quarter of the ownership Siakam is. So I do think Randall looks good as a pivot. And if you can get there, I think he looks good. I have a little bit of him, and then after that, like Gobert's fine. And then since it's a three gamer, I don't think I really want any of the bench pieces. I was kind of looking them over. No one I really
Yeah.
like. Minnesota runs a really tight rotation, unless you're playing for like a blowout. In that case, you could, but no one I'm really running to.
Yeah, if you were desperate, I guess Jalen Clark would be the guy. Mike Conley just hasn't been seeing enough minutes, and he's a low point per minute producer. We used to be able to play him because he'd play 30 plus minutes a night and just like fall into value, but he's not doing that with 16 minutes. So if you're desperate, I would play Clark over Conley. Probably just play neither, though, if we're being completely honest. And we did get a question from Luke here saying, do we stay away from Ant because of the illness? Honestly, I think he'd just be out if he wasn't good to go. So I'm pretty comfortable just playing it if you're getting to him, Luke. So wouldn't worry about it too much. Ken is saying he's in. We did have that news for a bit, but appreciate you guys keeping us honest. Brooks Hill game time decision. Jerome sounded good tonight and on UFC videos finally. And yeah, man. I mean, the model liked Fan. I can't take too much credit for that. That was a freak injury. But yeah, anyone who played off the model definitely did really well. And in yeah, I mean, Brooks if Anson, I think he is more incentivized to play here. There is a little bit of a rivalry between Brooks and every star in the league. So that would maybe lead you to think he tries a little bit harder to go here. Doreen said he'd be better if Ant was out. Yeah, for fantasy purposes, certainly. And yeah, I think we have him for regular minutes, Jose. I can't imagine he'd be out there just to play a few minutes if he's sick. That'd be pretty rough. They just give him the full night out. But yeah, he's in. We got him for 35. Just assume he's going to get his regular run. Obviously, a bit better of a matchup if Brooks is off the floor, but I think you could play him regardless, just because he's not as popular as he probably should be on a three-game slate. All right, we got one more game here, guys. So feel free to get more questions in, whether they be about this slate or I don't know, contest selection, strategy, anything. We got a little bit of extra time today. We will get to dummy builds on both DraftKings and FanDuel as well. But before we do all that, let's get into this last game here. The Spurs are favorites on the road at the Pelicans, 238.5 point total. San Antonio, Stephon Castle questionable. He's been out for a bit. Luke Cornett questionable as well. Definitely have to keep an eye on that situation. Still no Wemby, no Jordan McLaughlin. Not that that's a big piece of news, really. Anyway, Cornette, I think he goes here. Field does seem to be getting to him. If he's out, everyone wanted to make Olenek a thing last time. Then Biombo started. Olenek played like no minutes. Yeah, I don't think Biombo was a great play either. So yeah, just maybe avoid this front court if Cornette's out. If Cornette's in, you could play him. But we talked about Raynaud earlier. He's lower owned. I would rather play Maxime Raynaud at low ownership than I would a chalky Luke Cornett. So maybe keep that in mind as we talk through this. Vassell looks fine. Barnes looks fine. Obviously, wide range of outcomes for him. But if Castle's back, it could cut into guys like Harper a little bit. De'Aaron Fox, again, on DK, I think he's a bit under-owned. On FanDuel, at 8,300, he's tough to get away from, but could be a bit over-owned. You could pivot to people like Ant, maybe get a little bit more Randall in lineups with Siakam, something like that. Because while I do think Fox is a great play here, if we get Castle back in, him being 60+% owned just feels a little bit crazy to me. It's 56 right now, but you know what I mean. Other than that, it's tough. I mean, Keldon Johnson off the bench has had some good games. Champagne's had some good games. I don't think you could trust either with confidence, especially with Castle back in the lineup. So, in summary, if Cornette's in, I like him. Vassell probably my favorite Spur to get to here, just because I like the price and the upside. Barnes is like a last piece in, but yeah, I do like Fox on DK where no one's playing him. On FanDuel though, where everyone's playing him, I might try to get away. Spitty, how you feeling about San Antonio?
Yeah, I actually agree with you. FanDuel, it feels pretty heavy. I know the price is good. Pelicans defense isn't very good either, but this is kind of a new situation. I mean, we've seen it before, but you're getting a guy inserted into the lineup that's actually productive out there. So, kind of want to see how that goes before I jam Fox on FanDuel. DraftKings, I do think he's a better play. Like you mentioned, the lower ownership, I'll accept more volatility in that situation. So I like that. The Spurs, I'm actually getting to a decent amount of Keldon. Like Keldon Johnson, I think he looks pretty good. Luke Cornett, I'm getting to a little bit of if he plays. It's kind of tough because it's the last game, so it could kind of put you in a tricky situation. But yeah, I like him. Not a ton of high end centers to play on this slate, so he seems fine. And then getting to a little bit of Dylan Harper, not as much as the field, but I think he's fine. His role could change a little bit with Castle inserted, so I don't love that, but I do think he's okay. Harrison Barnes is like 20% owned. He keeps doing it on a 3 game slate. I think it's fine because the minutes will be there. I'm under the field, though, in saying that I have like 10% of him. So I do think he's an okay play. Don't really want anyone else. If Cornette's out, this team becomes a lot more interesting, but it's also the last game of the slate, so it's hard to really prepare for it.
Yeah, I actually think Sochan would be the more appealing option over Olenek and Biombo. Even if Biombo were to start again as value, no one playing Sochan right now. It is 5% owned on DK, 3 on FanDuel. But assuming Cornette's in, I don't mind Cornet. But to your point, it's not like there's a lot of direct pivots. If you're on DK, make sure Cornet's in at your utility. You can just find 100 to go up to Barnes. On FanDuel, yeah, if you're playing Cornet at center, you're going to have to get creative. You need a 2 for 2 to maybe get to Derek Queen, who we'll talk about now. On the Pelican side of things, Herbert Jones, questionable. He's been out for a while. Jordan Poole, Zion Williamson, DeJounte Murray, all out. I mean, if Herb's back, he's probably going to start. Again, he's another one of these guys who plays a lot of minutes, doesn't always take a ton of shots, but he does have some upside. So I wouldn't mind mixing him in a little bit. At the same time, definitely not a priority. Jeremiah Fears, I think about price where he should be. A little bit under owned, though, sub 20% on both sites. I do like him. The ceiling on this team has been Trey Murphy when he's in this season. Obviously, Sadiq Bey's had some big games as well, but I do trust Murphy for a little bit more than I do Bey. Obviously, you have to pay a little bit more to get there. He is popular, but I can't say he's not my favorite Pelican tonight. Derek Queen's been kind of hit or miss. He should start at center here with Missy coming off the bench. It's like I like him, but I do think he's a bit overpriced where he's at currently. Definitely easier to get to on FanDuel where he has power forward eligibility. We saw the very high ceiling from him earlier this year. It's been kind of rare lately, but again, the minutes for this entire rotation seem to fluctuate night to night. It's tough to really put a beat on anyone, but I will say, like on a 3 game slate, it's worth taking some shots. The thing is, he's pretty popular even at the high price tag, so I'm not crazy about it. Alvarado is always an interesting option. I mean, there's nights where he plays a ton. There's nights where he's not heavily involved. He played 30 minutes against the Nets. Prior to that, 22 against Minnesota, then 25. I think here against the Spurs, they'll probably want his defense on the floor for guys like Fox, Castle if he's in. He is a very good defender as a guard. And yeah, I like Alvarado. I don't mind mixing him in. I'm a little bit surprised he's not getting a bit more love here on the 3 gamer. 5% on DK, 8% on FanDuel. I think he's a really good shot as a tournament play. Other than that, not much. So just to quickly summarize, I like Murphy a lot. I like Bay if I can't afford Murphy. Then I think Alvarado, kind of a premier tournament play here. Just a lot of upside for a very cheap price tag, which is kind of tough to come by tonight. So, Smitty, how you feeling about the Pels?
Yeah, it's actually kind of wild because Alvarado is one of my favorite tournament plays on the slate.
Oh,
I like him quite a bit. They've been running him and Fears more together, so I think they've just kind of given up on a lot of these other dudes, and they're willing to do that. And in this matchup, they're kind of going to need that. San Antonio's pretty guard heavy, so I do think Alvarado sees a pretty good role. I like him quite a bit, especially on FanDuel. And then Trey Murphy, like that, I like him quite a bit. I think he's one of the better plays on the slate. Fears, I'm kind of indifferent on. I don't really love him at his price, but yeah, it's mainly Murphy, Alvarado for me. Don't mind if I get to like Bay. I do think Queen's a pretty good GPP play just because of his price. Like, I don't think people are really going to click him. Like you said, he's a little overpriced for what he's been doing recently, but kind of makes him interesting on a 3 game slate. Everyone else is just kind of GPP plays. Herb Jones coming back from an injury is kind of going to shake some things up. The ones I feel best about is like Murphy and Alvarado, really. Misi, since it's a small slate, I'll at least mention him. Center only, so kind of tough, but we have seen situations where he starts the second half and can have increased minutes, so don't mind mixing him into my pool.
yeah, I like that you're on Alvarado a lot. Definitely going to be someone I have in most of my lineups. Only playing a handful of single entry, mind you. But yeah, I think it's worth mentioning. McGowan's has been decent off the bench. I think with Jones back, he's someone who could lose minutes. Hawkins and Peavy are the guys who've been losing minutes to Alvarado, so really don't have any interest in Hawkins or Peavy. If Jones doesn't play, I do think he does. You could maybe get to a little bit of McGowan's. We have him currently at just 12 minutes. That's not enough, but if that gets up into the 20s, he's shown he could be productive when he's out there. He does have guard and forward eligibility on DK as well, so that is kind of useful if you're waiting for that late game for some news. So again, just keep that in mind. But let's check out the chat here. Best two pay ups, Smitty. Who you got?
We just talked about one, Trey Murphy. On this slate, I would consider him a pay up, and then Pascal Siakam.
Cool, cool. Sochan possibly under projecting his minutes. I mean, where do we have him? Let
I
me
kind
check
of
out
think
the
so.
game logs. I think we're pretty much on point. We have him at 17, which does feel low, but when we look at the game logs, I mean, he played 24 against Cleveland. Cleveland's huge, so they needed him out there. Prior to that, 19 against Orlando, 18 against Memphis, 12 against Minnesota. So I think it's a safe medium projection to keep him around 17. Could he play a couple more? Yes. Could he play a couple? Yes. Or less, excuse me. Also, yes. Michael can't hear us. The Spaniard can. Um, Maybe I sound like I'm in a box or you. I don't know. We mentioned Mixie. Um, just lots of audio talk. I'll say here, which centers are in your core? I think it's Raynaud for me, first and foremost, followed by Gobert, then Huff in that order. Those are the three I like. Smitty, how about you?
Yeah, probably the first game, Raynaud and Huff, and then Cornette's pretty close, just for his price.
Cool. Yeah, Raynaud, Gobert, Huff. I like that group. Let's go ahead and do a dummy build now. And I don't think we've gotten any more news. Still waiting on the Dylan Brooks stuff. Would love to see the Pacers starting lineup as well because, um, again, I think we're going to like Thompson more off the bench. I think Matthews probably gets the start, but that's not confirmed yet. But let's go ahead and build on DK. So I don't know. Where do we want to start? Trey Murphy is kind of a pay up. I'll get him in there.
Yeah,
Reynad sounds like we're both on that as a
yeah.
center, and then I think we both like Alvarado
Alvarado.
for
Yep.
value. So I'll go ahead and plug him in. But throw some names at me, man.
We could play Jay Huff at power forward. Um,
Love it.
I like either Nas or Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels, we could play at small forward though. So,
Yeah, I like McDaniels just because of that. Okay, we still got 7K per. I mean, we could pay up for a guard, or I don't know. I never play Randall. Actually, Siakam, I think I want in
yeah, yeah, probably Siakam. Randall's good too though.
there. Yeah, I like that. Gillespie,
Yeah,
and then we're left with 56. I mean, I
kind of
said
easy.
it'd probably be a decent night to play two centers, but I don't know. DiVincenzo feels pretty safe. I don't know that he has a ton of upside. If you could find a couple hundred more, you can maybe get to go Barrow Williams, but this is a pretty good build in my opinion. All right, let's go ahead and do FanDuel now. Similar start, get Murphy in. I don't know. Throw some names at me.
FanDuel. I sort by FanDuel value, and Harrison Barnes is number two. So
Why not?
Jay Huff's
48.
power. Or no, he's center only. Dang.
Yeah, maybe no Huff here.
Yeah. Let's see. We could go Gillespie there for sure. Still like McDaniel's. I like Alvarado though. His price on FanDuel is really good.
To see if shooting point guard only, that's fine. We can get him in there. Um, I still think I want Siakam over Randall if we have the salary for it,
Yeah,
and we do. Maybe we go Gobert over here. I don't know. We're getting there. If Brooks is in, I do really like Brooks. If he's out, I don't know. It could go down to Levine or Grayson.
yeah, yeah. I'm cool with that.
We'll put him in for now. He's more expensive than the pivots we mentioned. I don't know. Nemhard, and that leaves us with 81, something like this. I mean, don't know that I want to leave 700 to get to Keegan Murray. We can move some things around though, guys. You kind of see where we're at for the most part, but I think we're pretty solid there. All right. Gillespie or Westbrook for you? I mean, if salary doesn't matter, I think it's Westbrook. But if Brooks is out, I'd probably go Gillespie, and point per dollar, I'm already on Gillespie. How do you feel about those two? Model has Westbrook a bit higher right now, but that's with Brooks in.
Yeah, pretty much exactly the same. If you have the salary, I prefer Westbrook, but Gillespie point per dollar wise.
Jake Swell saying Raynaud or Cornette. Opto keeps spitting out Cornette. I like Raynaud because we're not 100% sure Cornette plays, and he's a little bit lower owned. And even if the Opto's spitting him out, the model actually has Raynaud's OF index zero point 0.2 higher. So Raynaud for me, Smitty. How about you?
Yeah, same. It's kind of risky to play Cornette, and I think he probably comes in higher owned than Raynaud. Most people don't know who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're going to be kind of stuck. Yeah. Like you said, I mean, Queen is a center in that late game. I don't know that you're going to want to go down to Missy. And then if Cornette's out, they maybe start Biombo, but you can never trust his minutes. Olenek, if he were to start, would look excellent. But again, he's dirt cheap. You're not going to want him to leave that much salary on the table, probably. And to get up to Derek Queen, you need like, I don't know, 1,500, 1,600 more to do it. So, um, yeah, that's where we're at. Any last thoughts, Smitty, before we get out of here? Are you in Discord today or Jayhawk?
Jayhawk is. No, I think it's a pretty good slate. Be watching for that Pacers lineup. Was kind of hoping we'd get it, but yeah, Ethan Thompson's ownership probably comes up if he starts. I kind of like him a little bit more if he don't start, but he's fine either way.
Yep, right there with you. And again, the Dylan Brooks news is the other big thing we're keeping an eye on. You could wait for the Cornette news, but we have no pivots. So maybe just come in under on Cornette. And yes, we both love Raynaud Thuggin. That's our favorite center play tonight. So hopefully you get some of him. But appreciate you guys. Tomorrow we get the NBA Cup slate. I think the next 2 days are NBA Cup, so we'll be back here for that. But as always, guys, check out the links in the description below. You get access to the model you see here. Get in the Discord where we have Jayhawk about to go live. We also have the new multi-lineup builder, and there is a tutorial on this channel if you want to go ahead and check that out. Always appreciate you tuning in. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, check us out on Twitter, all that good stuff. But yeah, have fun tonight. Crush. Let's make some money. Take care.